This is Where Porn Stars Go to Die, Episode 3.
Jerry breaks his penis.
Jerry drifted into a daydream. He was thinking about what was left in his fridge. A meatloaf from the Italian restaurant just down the street from his apartment in Hollywood. And 15 Pepperidge Farm frozen cakes. A fan whose job it is to deliver the cakes recently gifted an entire crate of them to Jerry. Jerry assumed they were stolen, but let it slide. He simply considered it a bonus payment for all that he has given the public over the years. That and the fact that he had to go and buy a new freezer to put them in. Jerry considered whether he would microwave the meatloaf or reheat it in the oven. Both had their advantages, he thought. And which of the half-empty Merlots in his fridge would pair best? The cake, which would be eaten whole, had to be thawed in the fridge for exactly 3 hours, and the timing needed to be precise. Like any hard-working man in America, he looked forward to the end of his workday, when he could spend time doing something he truly loved, eating a high-calorie dinner and watching TV. He was looking forward to his appearance on a comedy game show he filmed 2 months prior that was now airing. It's called So You Think You Have Self-Esteem. It pits young, attractive internet influencers with seemingly perfect lives against washed-up rock stars, sleazy Hollywood executives, and C-list celebrities like Jerry. The goal of the show was to rattle the self-esteem of the influencers. It often worked. He felt like he did a pretty good job on the show. He even got a couple of laughs. He replayed the fond memory of the show's taping and drifted off to sleep. The mysterious woman in the partially open bathrobe from earlier appeared in a dream. She was looking at him the way few women looked at Jerry off camera. As she walked toward him carrying the meatloaf in one hand and an open bottle of wine in the other, he reached out to undo the belt on her robe. It was turning out to be an amazing on-the-job nap. However, this was not a nap between scenes like Jerry was known for. This time he was in the middle of intercourse with a co-star riding on top of him. Jerry was laying comfortably on his back on an expensive dining table with food and place settings surrounding him. Not to mention the crew who were there, and the last to notice, by the way, that he was asleep. Alerted by Jerry's snoring, Mandy, the naked woman on top of Jerry, slapped him hard across the face. Jerry screamed awake. Mandy was not impressed with her sex partner napping. "Pay attention, Jerry," she said, frowning. "I was going places." Mandy began again with renewed vigor. "Yes, yes, yes," she shouted, for once in her career actually meaning it. The two were filming Horny Mother-in-Law 16, a popular adult video series featuring men having sex with their depraved and sex-starved mothers-in-law. In the porn world, it didn't matter that Mandy was nearly 2 decades younger than Jerry. Because she was over 25, she fit the older woman type perfectly. Besides, when the camera was on Jerry during his scenes, it would almost always be focused on whatever his balls were doing. Jerry was still completely passive on the table. Mandy flipped herself around to face the other way. The kids call this the reverse cowgirl because, as the logic goes, if she were riding a horse instead of Jerry, she'd be on it backwards, facing the horse's ass. Nothing good has ever come from riding a horse backwards, and nothing good has ever come from a horse's ass. Even though he was technically participating in intercourse, Jerry's heart wasn't in it. He started imagining the housewife in the robe seducing him. There was something different about that woman. She was so intense and raw, he thought. Jerry's increased arousal pleased Mandy, and she picked up her pace. The camera crew came in to get shots with a genuine pleasure on her face. And then they lowered the camera to Jerry's massive testicles to get the obligatory shot of those. The massive balls danced underneath like clumps of rubber. As Mandy was pleasuring herself on Jerry's lap while he daydreamed, it happened. The horrible event that would change Jerry's life. Jerry's penis came out, and when the full weight of Mandy came back down on it, it got jammed. And because he was as hard as a schoolboy at Mardi Gras, it broke. You could hear it in the room, kind of like a popping sound, subtle but horrifying. Jerry screamed like a man on fire. He threw Mandy aside and ran from the table. Talia chased after him with a towel. Why, no one knows. "For the love of God, someone get some ice," Carlos cried in terror. "Call an ambulance," Jerry yelled as he ran. He tripped over a lighting cord and went headfirst into the wall. Literally. His head penetrated the drywall and was buried inside, leaving his naked fat body hanging limp from the hole. He was unconscious. "Is he dead?" asked Carlos. "He's breathing," said Talia, who tried to dislodge him but couldn't. The crew was stunned. Some wept. Others crossed their legs. People asked each other, "What just happened?" An ambulance was called and the crew helped Jerry onto the floor. His face was covered in white gypsum and his tongue hung out like a cow at the slaughterhouse. Everyone stared at his bruised and swollen in the wrong way penis. "I quit," said Carlos, before walking out the front door, not saying another word. "It looks like a bike tire when the patch doesn't hold and it bulges out," said Talia. Jerry's broken penis was a horrific sight. The camera person threw up onto a prop plate on the dining table. Jerry was rushed away in an ambulance, still unconscious. He woke up in a hospital bed hours later. A woman dressed as a nurse was holding his penis in her gloved hand. This was not unusual for Jerry. He had been in this situation many times before. Hospital rooms were a regular part of Jerry's porn career since the beginning, but there was something wrong with this one. He marveled at the detail in the room, not to mention the smells and sounds that real hospital rooms have. He slowly realized it was a real hospital and his penis was in fact broken. The woman holding it was a real nurse, and not the kind that strips naked and fornicates vigorously with a patient because she can't wait for someone healthy to come along. The nurse holding his penis was talking, but not to Jerry. "You can see the dark bruising and of course evidence of internal bleeding," she said. Only then did Jerry realize she was talking to a room full of nursing students, who were all looking at his exposed genitalia. There must have been 20 of them, all still in their teens, staring with horrified faces. "So the right ankle is bad?" asked one young woman. "Oh yes," answered the nurse. "Have you ever seen a penis?" "Not in the light," answered the young woman. "It looks like a balloon animal," said another. Her face contorted with concern. "That's right," said the nurse. "Very painful, I imagine." "Why?" cried a young man in the room who was looking down at his shoes. "It's not supposed to look like that." The pain seeped in as Jerry gained consciousness. "Put it down, put it down, put it down," he yelled. "Okay," said the nurse. "Sorry, we don't get many broken penises. I'm going to scoot all these kids out and get you something to help with the pain." The room emptied and Jerry was asked to sign a surgery release form. As soon as he did, the nurse put something in his IV. "This is Demerol," she said. "You'll be conscious while they cut open your penis, but you won't care." Jerry either fainted or fell asleep. When he awoke the next morning, he didn't remember the surgery. His brain may have shut down to protect itself. On the table beside him sat a flower bouquet with little dildos carefully arranged throughout. Jerry squinted to read the card. "Get hard soon," it read. "It's from the Free Speech Coalition," said a young nurse named Winnie, who was checking his IV. "That's nice of them," said Jerry. "I have to check your dressing," said Winnie. She lifted off the blanket covering Jerry and pulled up his gown. "Oh my," she said, gagging at the sight. "They warned me. I've seen things, but I haven't seen this." An elderly couple passed by the open door and stopped to stare. Jerry was annoyed. "If you haven't got tickets, please move along," he said. Winnie went to close the door. "What on earth happened?" said the man. "Did Viagra do this?" said the woman. "Yes," said Winnie. "Viagra kills." Winnie gently shut the door in their faces even as they craned for a better look. "It's looking not too bad," said Winnie. "I'll have to change the dressing in a few hours, and that could be unpleasant. It might be for you too," she added. Dr. Allen entered and held up an X-ray to the light. It looks like the ER did an x-ray of your genitals when the ambulance brought you in, he said. Why? Asked Jerry. There's no bones in there, is there? I should hope not, said Dr. Allen. But you'd be surprised the things I've pulled out of urethra over the years. An ultrasound is what they should have done, of course. Isn't the radiation bad for my balls? Said Jerry. Yes, it's terrible for balls. That's why you usually put lead over them during x-rays, said Dr. Allen. Oh my God, said Jerry. The education system failed you today, Mr. Balls, and I'm sorry for that. Fact is, though, unless you're making babies in the next few days, I would try not to worry about it. Having children anytime soon wouldn't be a good idea, said Dr. Allen. This is the thing of comic books. How would I make babies like this anyway? Asked Jerry. Well, that's just it, isn't it? Said Dr. Allen. A syringe would have to be involved, I don't know. Although those are some pretty impressive testicles, aren't they? What are they, 50 grams, twice the high end of normal? 70 in my right, 62 in the left, said Jerry. But they weighed them after not having sex for 2 days. Who did that? Asked Dr. Allen. UCLA? Stanford, replied Jerry. I've got a written certificate signed by 4 different deans. I see a lot of interest there, understandable, said Dr. Allen. Dr. Allen used his pen to move Jerry's penis a little to get a better look. Did you feel that? Asked Dr. Allen. No, said Jerry. Good, said Dr. Allen. That would be unbearable if the medication wasn't working, I would imagine. The door burst open to reveal Marty Stewart, Jerry's manager, a man whose jet black hair did not match his 77-year-old weathered face. He went right for Jerry's exposed genitals to have a closer look. Oh, dear God, exclaimed Marty. It's like a bratwurst has been left in the sun and picked at by hungry crows. Excuse me? Asked Dr. Allen. Mandy did this to you? Asked Marty. I'm going to sue her so hard she'll have to sell her silicone on the open market. Her tits will be Chinese solar panels one day, Jerry. I promise you that. This is my manager, explained Jerry. I'm going to have to cancel your engagements, both literally and figuratively, said Marty, opening the notebook. Yes, you won't be engaging any time soon, said Dr. Allen. Marty thumbed through the dog-eared pages. I've got you at Marcel's tomorrow night judging a wet yoga pants contest, said Marty. On Wednesday, you fly to Toledo to act in a music video for a Christian rock band. Ironically, I assume, or maybe they found Satan, who knows. I can't remember what that's about. And Wednesday night, you're a panelist on cable news with one of the lesser Falwells. Jeannie or Jenny or something like that, I think. He's not going to be in any shape to do any of that, said Winnie. Plenty of rest to start with. You don't want an infection down there. No, I don't, Jerry said, grimacing at the thought. Infection means no erection, quipped Dr. Allen. Friday, you've got to get your no-nos measured for your new dildo with a gerrymanderer, said Marty. That's not going to happen, Marty, said Jerry. It hurts when they make those molds as it is. I'm not going to do that. Next weekend, I have you in New Jersey shooting Butt Invaders 6, said Marty. And in the evening, Barely Legal Butt Miners 2 and 3. He flipped through several pages of his notebook. Let me just see if there's any anal involved in any of those, he said. Yes, there is, he determined. That's the last thing you want to be doing, said Dr. Allen. Doctor, what's the prognosis? Asked Marty. Some of these butts are a pretty tight fit. People aren't eating enough fiber nowadays. Wait, who are you again? Asked Dr. Allen. Marty Stewart, star maker, said Marty, before handing the doctor his magenta-colored business card. You know, Doc, you're in pretty good shape for a man your age. I've got an insatiable demand for MILF content, and I need more guys like you. Guys who can get erect in front of a large group of men on a moment's notice. Do you think you could do that? I'm married, said Dr. Allen. Married, said Marty, rubbing his chin. Interesting. Look, said Dr. Allen, Jerry will be a long-term recovery, and that's if things go well. Really? Asked Jerry. You have a tear in your tunica albuginea, said Dr. Allen. I thought it was his dick that was broken, said Marty. It is, said Dr. Allen. It's the thick, fibrous coat surrounding the corpora cavernosum tissue that produces an erection. His porn career will have to be put on hold, maybe forever. Oh, God, said Jerry. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Who knew they were that complicated, said Marty. I thought they were like little balloons that inflated on command when your high school gym teacher walked into the room. Although it's rare, it does happen, said Dr. Allen. Especially since the reverse cowgirl is gaining popularity again. Thank you, Teen Vogue. Actually, one of the doctors was saying it's the most dangerous position for this, said Winnie, covering Jerry with a blanket. We hope it will heal properly, but there's always a chance it could leak, said Dr. Allen. It leaks at the end of every scene he shoots, said Marty. What exactly do you mean? If the tube running up the shaft can't fill and hold the blood, he won't ever have a full erection again, said Dr. Allen. Kill me, Marty, said Jerry. Kill me now. I mean it. Pull the plug. You're not on life support, said Winnie. There's no plug to pull. Anal will be the least probable of intercourses in Jerry's future, said Dr. Allen. Why, because of the relative tightness, asked Marty. Yes, said Dr. Allen, and it's true people aren't eating enough fiber, but that's beside the point. We'll just have to give it a couple months. A couple months before he ever gets an erection, let alone does something with it. What if I get aroused, asked Jerry. Are blowjobs okay? Do not get aroused, Jerry, said Dr. Allen. If you have trouble, I can give you medication to tamp that down. You don't want to get an erection until the tubes heal or they will rupture. Seriously, said Marty? Do you participate in medically assisted dying because you're killing my client? I can refer you to a specialist who puts in stents, but you would have to walk around with erection all the time, said Dr. Allen. Well, that seems doable, said Marty. His penis is unremarkable. It's his balls that paid for my infinity pool. I have to continue my round, said Dr. Allen, but I will leave you with a very specific set of instructions, including do not get aroused. I can't state that enough. If you get aroused, you're putting water into a leaky plumbing system. Dr. Allen walked out of the room and Marty chased after him. I bet you know your way around a vagina, said Marty. There's this actress I think you'd like working with. She's had a bunch of kids because she's Catholic, but she's a vegetarian and she's kept herself out of the sun. I swear she looks like a Fox News anchor if you can get past the chewed-up nipples. The door closed behind them, leaving only Jerry and Winnie, who was now texting on her phone. So what's it like having sex for a living? Asked Winnie. Is it like being a prostitute? No, there's more light, said Jerry. Look, it beats digging ditches, he added. You don't sound like you're from SoCal, said Winnie. I'm not, said Jerry. I'm Canadian. No kidding. How did you get here? Asked Winnie. My balls, said Jerry. Been doing this since I was 18. I have no idea what I'm going to do now. Hey, my mom knows who you are, said Winnie, reading her phone. Can I get an autograph? Sure, said Jerry. You want me to sign a boob or something? I can't show my mom my boob. Gross. How about we take a selfie here? Can we do that? Asked Winnie. Sure, said Jerry. Winnie pulled the blanket back and posed her head near Jerry's injured penis. She smiled widely and gave a thumbs up, and so did Jerry, entirely out of habit. Jerry closed his eyes. Can I rest now? He asked. Thanks, man. She'll get a kick out of this, said Winnie. She tossed her gloves in the trash and exited the room. Jerry thought of his meatloaf going stale in the fridge and all the good times he had with his penis throughout his life. He sobbed for the first time in decades. We'll see you again next time on Where Porn Stars Go to Die. I'm James Whittingham.